If I didn't mention it before, the first thing we want to do actually is, now that we've got all of our diatonic chords here, is select all of them, tab over, and make sure we've turned off loop. We definitely don't want loop on for this example. Okay, so now that we have our diatonic chords here, it's a good time to start talking about major and minor. So you could click on the first chord, which sometimes you just get given information, and there's two, you just have to take it. So we've said that this is a C major chord. And we got that by putting a note on C and then going up 3 white notes, 1, 2, 3, and then going up 3 white notes again. At this point now, we could analyze the semitone distance between these notes to start to create some kind of a formula. So we'd look here and we'd see between the first note and the second note in the chord, or the third note in the scale, which we haven't talked about yet, but we can just analyze this and go, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apart. And then either measuring from the bottom or in between here. Probably measuring from the bottom is easier. So we've got 5, and then to get to the second note, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you'd probably talk about going from, counting from there, which is different how we count the majors, the intervals. So counting semitones, you start the one after. Counting intervals, we include. So we could think about how to sell that terminology, but it's just because it comes from different places. Anyway, so you could say that this, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a major chord. And because it's starting, or its lowest note is C, we're going to call it C major. So then we'd learn about renaming C major. Then we just look at the next chord and analyze it. So we know the root note is D, so that's the bottom, so we could rename that D. Then we can look at it some more. Okay, what's the distance between the next note? So counting from the next one, 1, 2, 3. Before it was 4. You could also start to build in some kind of like 4, 7, some kind of like way to recognize, just to remember. So 4 and 7 were the other two notes. So this is 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could talk about how they sound inherently different, and then that is what makes this a minor chord, the fact that it's 3 and 7. So just some kind of system there. And then you could go through and analyze all of the rest of them, and you'd come up with E minor. Those are the intervals. So you'd have a bit of a discussion about F major. So yeah, the trickiest part is just kind of reconciling the different origins of these naming schemes, whether we're talking about semitones or intervals. Maybe that's like a wider discussion as well. And then when you get to diminished, you get to talk about that's 3 and 3. Oh no, 3 and 6, because it's 3 plus 6. Again, that's from the root note. So it'd be like, maybe you could start doing root note, third and sixth. So if I was going to copy this here. And again, it's just about giving good systems to use. Root note 4 and 7. That's nicer because it's a triad. Cool. And again, so we've got a little bit of a system. You could get into coloring things or whatever, but I feel like this is really no different to learning chords and learning shapes on a traditional guitar or piano instrument. It's the same deal. It's just getting a system for remembering what you need to be able to access. Of course, this is all leading up to being able to play a keyboard as well. I think would be really useful, and keyboards, translating this into keyboard skills later on would be good. But for now, whilst we don't have access to a keyboard, we've just got our laptop, and this also translates well to drum pads and, you know, triggers and pads in general. And instantly you're able to jam. We're getting a loop. I don't know where to find loops. Drums, loops. There we go. Let's play with that. No. Samples. That's what we want. Drum drop. Awesome. So it's always reinforcing this diatonic chord number. Lots of visual feedback, and it would really help people who are learning names of chords, trying to understand scale degrees, trying to understand chord qualities really quickly.